This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, we got a jam-packed show tonight, and we were just talking before we went on about how much stuff we got to talk about, considering we're kind of not in a bowling season, right? We're kind of at the tail end of it.
Yeah, well, it's so weird, right? Because it is bowling season. Like, league season starting up. Like, tournament season is coming around the corner. But you're right. It's not bowling season in terms of there being bowling on TV, pro bowling, regular basis type deal. So, yes.
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to Nico in the chat. He's going to bowl tournament. I know he's looking forward to it. The best advice that I can give you, Nico, to go to this tournament is don't think about the outcome. Don't think about the score. Focus on your process. Your first step to your fourth step, your first step to your fifth step. That's all you could focus on. Make good shots, one shot at a time. Don't think too ahead of yourself. Don't think about scores. Don't think about what you're bowling. Just think about your process. That's my advice to you, Nico. So good luck to you this weekend.
You know what, Nico? I'd feel invested in your tournament performance if you ever would email us some videos of you bowling so we could help you out. I keep telling you, I keep tweeting at you saying, yo, send us a video, bro. We will help you out. All right. I'm the GOAT of high school coaching in New Jersey, and this is Brooklyn Rob you're talking to, bro. We'll help you out, no problem. Okay.
Yep.
So I still haven't gotten a video. Still waiting on that. I'm offering you a free video lesson, Nico, and you're not taking me up on it. And I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit bent out of shape about that. But good luck at the tournament this weekend. Have fun.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
The most important thing, Rob is wrong. The most important thing is have fun. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself.
What, though? When you bowl good, it's fun.
It is. Oh, Rob, bless up, son. No doubt. Bowling good is way more fun than bowling bad. But you can't let bowling bad ruin a good time.
Agreed.
Right? That was our problem as junior bowlers. Like, we did that too much. We let bad bowling ruin a good time. Right? And now
when I was a junior, so I couldn't
tell you. I don't know about that. I don't know.
It was always a good time when I was on planes.
I don't know about that. I'm sure you had a few performances that didn't meet up to your standard.
I don't think I missed
where
cut
you
like
left burning a little bit.
Oh man, those are the days I could walk on the lane and just kill any shot they put out. Oh man, I miss those days. Now I'm barely can make a cut, let alone
True. But yeah, don't let bad bowling ruin a good time. So have fun, 100%. Nico. Enjoy yourself. What's up to everybody in the chat? Welcome everybody. We appreciate. I'm just blown away. I really am. Every week I'm blown away at like the people who show up. And it's wild to me. It's crazy. It's cool. It's cool. I greatly appreciate it. And I've even gotten to meet a few of you outside the lanes, like Jimmy and like Tim Sorrells and Ed Lipinski and Steph and a couple other guys who were in here in the chat. And yeah, it's just cool. It's a cool thing.
I remember a lot about Gil Hodges Lane. So Yomop, who, hey, I don't know who Yomop is, but I imagine it's
Yomop is somebody connected. I can tell that.
Somebody we know. Absolutely.
It is.
I remember more Gil Hodges Lanes of the Friday night brackets that Jana Peace used to run. To me, that was the pinnacle of Gil Hodges Lanes.
Joe Tusa, baby. Joe Tusa.
R.I.P.
Tommy Hag.
Man.
Tommy Hag called him a beast. Tommy Hag called him a beast at that thing. He said, yo, bro, you're a beast. And Tusa
got pissed.
Nearly wanted to choke him out. Okay, I'd never seen somebody get so angry. And he was actually insulting him.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. We have to. We're going to change the format of the show a little bit tonight because obviously there was some big and the bowling community suffered a big loss this week. And we thought that the proper way to kick off the show this week, as opposed to getting into our regular antics of league review and some of the other stuff we do, would be to number one, recognize the passing of Bill Chrisman, obviously CEO of Storm, and offer our condolences as we did online already, but offer our condolences to his family and the Storm family, really, because I know obviously he was close with a lot of the people associated with that company. A big loss for bowling, a big loss for Storm. I don't know where, take it in any direction you want. I mean, the way I will remember Bill Chrisman as a bowler is just someone who created this iconic company out of nothing, really.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
That's to me, that's if you're telling the one sentence story of Bill Chrisman, that's the one sentence story is the guy who created the iconic bowling ball company
100%.
out of nothing.
So for somebody to start a company in 1985 by developing bowling ball cleaners, because he started the company it was called High Score Products, and they were developing bowling ball cleaners, and then he then converted, I believe, in around 91 to manufacture bowling balls under Storm, and High Score was originally their parent company. And Storm was just a child company of High Scores, and then eventually he switched over to Storm. And then in '97 they acquired Roto Grip, right? And then here he goes, starting to like really snowball this thing. And I wrote something that I was actually going to post on Facebook, but I wanted to actually read what I wrote because, it as a bowler growing up, and Storm didn't really come to really its own until probably right around like in the late 99-ish, right? Probably 2000-ish when they really
I'd probably say a little earlier than that for me, but you're not far off. Like,
right.
Because prior to 99, 2000, they had already come out with balls like the Firestorm, which to me is one, and we're gonna you have a top 10 list of the top 10 Storm balls of all time. And we're gonna in honor of Bill Chrisman, we're gonna wrap up this conversation by going through that list, and I'm gonna take some guesses. The people in the chat can take some guesses when we get to that point. But the Firestorm came out. I was throwing that as a sophomore in high school, and that was like 96, 95, 96. So it was just prior to that, and I feel like that's when they really started. You started to take notice of Storm as a company. It was definitely mid to late 90s, no question.
Correct. So I wrote, and this is what I was going to write, but I'm going to read it, is I was thinking today about how Storm as a bowling company has influenced the game of bowling as we know it today. Not just from bowling balls and merchandise, right, which is what, they're known for, but for supporting pros through their bowling journey, right? I mean, how many times when I grew up seeing Tim Mack and Bry Kretzer and David Haynes, right, wearing that Storm logo as a staffer. And we've talked about this before. That meant something. When you were on a Storm staff back in like 98, 99, 2000, that meant something. You were somebody, right? And Storm was giving free bowling balls, and they were really supporting a lot of these amateurs, right? I mean, they picked up Belmo before Belmo was an anybody, right? Belmo.
Well, I was going to say, by 99, 2000, I feel like they already had Pete. They already had Norm. They already had some big names. Like,
they were like the first company, though, to like. I feel like Storm was the first company to actually like sign bowlers before they were actually like pros and legit pros.
Right.
Like they were actually scouting.
Timmy Mack being the best example, right?
Right. Timmy Mack was a major scouter, right? But Timmy Mack was probably doing a lot of the scouting, and then going back to Bill, right, and talking about how like great of a bowler this is. We need to sign him. They had Robert Smith. I mean, think about all the guys they had like back when they were younger. It's just amazing what they were able to do, right? As a company, right? Storm was able to they set the bar, right? Storm set the bar, in my opinion, for a lot of the stuff that's going on in the industry today. So my other thing is about how good Storm was supporting pros with their bowling journey, sponsoring tournaments, right? They did a lot of sponsoring tournaments, coaching, educating bowlers, having what I forgot what they called when they have those bowling balls and you're able to like
The matchmaker.
the matchmakers. Bill Chrisman he really loved bowling, and I had the honor to speak with him a couple times. I didn't know him very well. I did speak with him a couple times, but you could see when you talk to him about bowling, how lit up he was and how passionate he was about the sport. And it's one of those things where the passion for bowling came first and the company came second, and you could always tell about Bill. And Bill, all the pros would always have anything but amazing things to say about Bill. So yeah, what a great guy, a great businessman, right? It's really set the bar in the bowling industry to where it is today, for the whole industry, not just the bowling company, right? And yeah, thoughts and condolences to the family and the friends. But in his honor, Mike, I made a top 10 of the greatest Storm balls ever made. Okay. Now, this is just Storm. This isn't Roto Grip. This isn't, Global 900, right? This is strictly Storm. So I'm going to throw it to you, and I'm going to see if you could peg my 10 right off the bat.
I'm gonna turn to the people in the chat for help. Okay, that's number one. So if people want to start giving guesses, they can. But before I comment on any of the balls, just a word about Storm and yeah, everything you said is on the money, right? And I'm not going to spend a bunch of time repeating what you already said, but I go back and I said this, I think, when we interviewed Tim Mack or on another episode at some point. I forget who we were talking to when I said this, but when I think of Storm, I always think of that poster of Timmy Mack with the ball in his hands and his elbows are stretched out and he's like, he's kind of snarling at the camera, right? And to me, that was always like the beginning of Storm. And when I think of Storm, I will always think of like the takeover. I like it from a business perspective, like not only from a bowling perspective, but from a business perspective, it's like an interesting story to me of how they went from being like this off-brand company in bowling to creating what I jokingly and respectfully refer to now as the evil empire, right? And I refer to them in that way because they are the best at what they do. And they do get all the best players. And they do, everybody who throws a bowling ball wants to wear that S on their chest. Let's be honest, okay? I mean, that's almost a fact. So that says a lot about how far they've come as a brand and a business. I mean, at one point, Storm was dictating what's cool in bowling. Like, do you remember the old school style bowling shirts they came out with that Robert Smith and Pete Weber rocked on TV a few times? The ones with the white underarms that had the frames on them with the X's in them. We had
one of those.
We had those as our college shirts one year. Yep. Okay. So like, yeah, Storm got that big. They got to the point where they were what was hot in bowling. And it's still kind of that way. It's that way in a different way. I mean, I think honestly they've gotten a lot smarter about what they do. Like starting that Storm Youth Tour is like, some genius level stuff right there for numerous reasons that I won't get into now. But that's what I think of when I think of Storm.
Yeah,
I think of the takeover.
I had the privilege of actually interviewing for the West Coast tour rep years ago, and they actually flew me to Utah. And I interviewed with a bunch of the higher ups for that position. Didn't get the interview with Bill, unfortunately, but I got to see exactly what happens over there. And it's a pretty cool, intimate, it was an intimate front row seat to, being there for 2 full days and seeing everything of the company, the manufacturing, the test lanes, the offices. Obviously I didn't get the job. I would have took it. But yeah, it was actually a pretty cool, actually, no, it wasn't for a West Coast. It wasn't for a tour rep. It was for like a marketing, assistant marketing person.
Okay.
So yeah, it wasn't for a tour up. I interviewed with Hammer or Ebonite for a tour up. That was later. Okay.
But yeah,
So,
you go back to that era when Storm blew up, and you think about some of the great products that were being put out there by the other companies at that time, and it really, like I said, it's really an interesting story of like what gave them the upper hand, because if you're talking mid to late '90s, keep in mind you're also talking about an era that had the Zone series in it. Okay, you had Brunswick putting out a lot of Zone and Rhino stuff. You had Quantums. You had Track. You had Track making great balls at that time. Okay, you had Ebonite putting out some classic stuff like the Omega, like the Lion, like others that I can name.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for Storm, here's what I'm saying: for Storm to come out on top in that competition, I would love to hear the inside story of all the little minute decisions. We know the major decisions that went into that. We know the major parts of the story, but I would like the 30 for 30 on that. Okay,
I might know some people that maybe I could bring on and we could talk to about it. Honestly,
no doubt, absolutely. I mean, had we had more notice, I would have loved to have hit up Timmy and bring him on. I mean, you want to talk to somebody about the rise of Storm? I think he's probably one of the better people in the community to talk to. But the timing.
I think he was on Beef and Barnsey last week when this happened. I think he was. So maybe we'll check that
Beef
out.
and Barnsey get everybody. They steal everybody from us. Since they came on the scene, it's like we can't snatch the guest because they got too many connects, fellas. Stu, throw us a bone once in a while, bro.
Yeah,
it would be nice to get a text from Stu where he's like, "Hey, so and so just did this, and I know you're going to want to interview him, so we'll give you that one." Come on, man, please, jeez, I'd be willing to buy you a meal for that.
By the way, so the chat has been doing pretty good. They've been doing pretty good with naming some of the balls. Okay.
All right, we're going to get there. There's one beef I got with Storm and Bill Chrisman. Okay. Can I put it out there?
Sure.
There's one beef I got, and I think you're going to share this with me, honestly, Rob. They never came after our boy.
That's not true.
Nah. I mean, if they came after our boy hard enough, it would have happened.
Timmy, I was very, very close with Bill right around the time that he was signing with Hammer. And the Hammer has different contracts than Storm does, okay, for their tour reps at that time, okay? Storm was always notoriously known for having more incentivized contracts, okay? So your base or your salary wasn't always the highest, but if you bowled good and you made TV shows, you were getting better bonuses and commissions or whatever you want to call it for making shows. Hammer and Ebonite, or at the time was just Hammer, was actually giving better base salary deals, higher salary, more guaranteed money, right? So for a professional bowler, if you're going to have two choices, you're going to take the guaranteed money every day of the week. Even though Storm is notoriously made better stuff, right? And better equipment, and you probably perform better with Storm balls back at that time, you probably were going to take the more money for guaranteed pay with maybe a different company, right?
Listen, I'm just saying, I would have liked to have seen that happen.
What I'm saying is,
Timmy, earlier in his career,
I think Timmy was always trying to get Bill. I think he was always recruiting, but I think Bill was just too far involved with Hammer, So I'm not saying that never happened. Trust me, I guarantee you there was conversations there. Next time we have Bill on for one of your, parent, teacher, whatever skits you guys do, you guys can ask him about that.
I texted him the other day to tell him what our next topic was going to be. The next Parents in the Back will be in November, right around Thanksgiving, and we already have the topic that we're going to do. So people can look forward to that.
I look forward.
His son, Can I tell you this, though? His son is going to be Eminem for Halloween. I just want to drop that nugget, okay? I just want to drop that nugget. It's one of the things we talked about recently. I just want to drop that. Take that for what it's worth. All right, let's get to your list. All right.
Okay, so
top 10. Let me start. I haven't even really looked at the chat. I'll be honest. I haven't even really looked at the chat. I'm just going to name a few that have to be on there.
Okay.
The High Road has to be on there.
Yeah, High Road's my number one.
All right. The Thunder series has to be on there.
The
I
Black
don't know
Thunder.
if you. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know if you broke it down by.
I didn't. Black Thunder is 4, and Lightning is honorable mention.
All right, so what the Blue Thunder?
No, Blue Thunder didn't make the list. There's better
Really?
balls.
What?
When you
God.
see the list, and all the balls they've made, you'll understand why the Blue Thunder didn't make the list.
I'm gonna say Thunder Road.
No,
has to be
didn't make
on
the
there.
list.
Really? Okay.
Listen, so
Phase 2.
Phase 2, 6.
Phase 2 has to be on there.
Phase 2.
El Nino has to be on there.
Nope. El Nino didn't make it. They made a ton of good balls, dude.
All right. IQ Tour has to be on there.
Yep, number 5. You're missing one of the greatest balls ever made that is still used today.
All right, I got to go to the chat. Now. I'm running out of options.
So here it is. Ready? I'll go through the list. Okay.
No, hold on. Virtual Gravity. Someone
8.
says, is that on there? Okay.
OG
okay.
Virtual Gravity is 8.
Let's see.
I can't believe nobody said this ball. Nobody has said this ball yet. It is the greatest, if not the greatest storm ball ever made, and it's still being used all the time on the shows today. Nonstop, they're using it.
The Pitch Black.
Yeah, the Pitch Black is got to be. That's number 2 greatest storm ball ever made. Has to be.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Pitch Black? What are you kidding? They're still using it. This thing's been out for like 15 years. They're still using it. You can't
Dan,
go what you do.
Stick around, Dan.
Yeah. So there's another ball that's an OG, bro, that nobody has even mentioned yet. Amazing this ball was. They made it for like 10, 15 years in production. Pearl Marvel.
Oh, the Marvel. You're right.
The Pearl Marvel. Okay. Marvel S.
Okay.
You said it earlier in the show, the Firestorm had to be in the top 10.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right? X Factor.
Okay.
OG X Factor. And we've already named 10.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's a pretty good list. It's a pretty good list. I'd have a few others on there, but that's
my list was from 1 to 10 was High Road, Pitch Black, Pearl Marvel, Black Thunder, IQ Tour, Phase 2, Marvel S, Virtual Gravity, Firestorm, X Factor, Lightning Storm, honorable mention. That was my top 10.
So really 11 with the honorable mention.
Honorable mention because the Lightning Storm could be in the same category as the Black Thunder. I mean, I
don't have any major. Yeah, there's no duds on there. There's no duds on there.
But to think about, there's so many balls we named: El Nino, a Skybolt, right? That Thunder Road, right? I mean, you could any of those could be put in the top 10 in my opinion. I mean, obviously it's by preference, right? Like everybody had their favorite storm balls, right? And some people, I love the El Nino. I won numerous tournaments with that ball. Could put that in a top 5 if I was doing. There's a lot. The original, just the Pacific Storm was really good. The one thing they never made. The Secret Agent, great
is a
ball,
sleeper
right?
for Storm.
100%.
That ball won my high school team a state championship. I'm not gonna lie. We drilled one of those, and it was like, right? Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, you could name a top 25 list, and we could probably put 25 in there. Honestly,
I don't know how many people remember this ball, but they came out with a ball called the Red Hot. Like in the mid to late 90s, I had drilled one of those. They came out with a couple versions of it actually, and it was like an early version of a low flare ball, is what it was, if I remember correctly. And that ball helped me out tremendously in JBTs because I just really couldn't get the ball through the front part of the lane. And when they broke down, I drilled that up, and it was like, oh, okay, now I don't have as much of an issue.
Dude, the Red Tor Power is another one that probably should be in that top 10 list. Right? Yeah. Firepower, Yomop. I mean, man, the product they're putting out and they were putting out was just amazing. So anyway, that's my top 10 in honor of Bill Chrisman. the father of Storm and what a just amazing person, bowling industry, did amazing things for it. And
No doubt.
All right, Mike.
League report.
League report. You want to get into your league report real quick?
Yeah, first time I bowled in like 3 weeks. We had 16 guys, and we're not getting the best turnout, but I think that'll improve as the weeks go on. I shot, I think, 570. I didn't bowl that great, to be honest. I think I went, I want to say 190, 210, 170. Yeah. I honestly, I need to get out and bowl more. I'm not going next week because my daughter is playing a makeup game for soccer on Tuesday night as opposed to practice. So I won't be going next week. But after that, I should be pretty steady going forward. So I'm thinking before 2 Tuesdays from now, I'll probably hit the training center once or twice and get some work in, make sure that I'm a little bit sharper than I am now. And, try and improve. I didn't win any pots. I didn't even really come close. I didn't feel like all night. But enjoyed myself, had a good time. The medium pattern that we're bowling on, Autobahn, is definitely playing, and I don't know why, I can't explain this for the life of me, but it's playing much differently this year than it did last year, and it's the same pattern. But, yeah, struggling a little bit with that. Nico asking what oil pattern we were bowling on. The medium is Autobahn right now. That's another thing, honestly, is I wanted to change the patterns going into this season, and the people that are now running it decided to keep the patterns the same. So I went in this week and I asked around and said, yo, anybody interested in changing the patterns? And people were like, yeah, we'd love to change the patterns. So we're going to switch it up for the second 9-week session and switch the patterns up and do something new, which will definitely, I think, create a little bit more interest on my part, just because I get tired of bowling on the same patterns over and over and over again. I'd rather bowl on something different. I think it's kind of part of the fun of it to me is trying to figure it out week to week. What did I do last week, and what do I have to do differently this week to put up a better number? So, we continue on, we roll on. That's my league report. Rob, what do you want to get into? What do you want to get into first here in terms of our docket?
Let's talk about the PBA show this past weekend.
The LBC.
The LBC trying to hard being Snoop Deal Double G, but somehow, some way, got
no doubt,
like every single day.
Can I kick a little something for the G's and make them feel dance as I breeze through? Yeah, no doubt. I feel you.
And the party's still popping.
So, League Bowling Championship.
Yes.
Bolero, PBA, Bayside. 60 grand. 60 grand.
Let me set the tone.
Let me set the tone. Okay.
Let me set the tone here. Okay. Last week we talked about the PBA league, and we talked about how the PBA needs to cut out the shit, the fat. They need to cut the fat and the shit out, and they need to invest in the PBA league. They need to throw money at it. They need to maybe create a World Bowling League, okay, which we'll talk about later. But they need to invest in the PBA league and cut out the shit and cut out the fat. Mike, this tournament is shit, and it's the fat of the PBA, right? How much money? Okay, Patrick D, the show was boring. How do you even make $60,000 prize for something like that? Whoever runs these things have no ideas what real fans want to see. Okay, here's the thing is, I agree 70% with that, because here's the thing is, the show is good for the casual like fan, like the person who just likes to see the one shot deals and whatnot. For the more like dedicated hardcore fans like Mike is, like me for a certain point, these shows are terrible. The hardcore fans hate this type of show. The interviews between the shots made me want to I don't know, do something, not watch the show, essentially. It just, I didn't like it. I got through one round. They had like 11 or 12 people. They were eliminating one person after every 12 shots. It felt like it felt like at the time I was watching, it was going to be an eternity to get to the final person. Okay, because the format was awful. Like I felt like I was going to have to sit there for like 2 hours watching people throw strikes and nines. You know what I mean? They need to cut this shit out. This type of shit. Cut it out. Get rid of it. Take the money and invest in something like the league or something that actually, could, be more of a competitive and actually a better product.
Well, I got bad news. I got bad news for you, son. I got bad news for you because as they announced on the show, they're already doubling down on this event. And not only is it coming back, but they're expanding it with different divisions, and they're going to have a youth division now. And yeah, so it's going to be even bigger next year.
Mike, I don't mind the tournament. I don't mind the tournament they run the 2 or 3 months. God bless. They could do that. Put the finals on Bowl TV. Really, like, and maybe, I don't know about the money situation, right? But I don't mind the tournament. Maybe they were able to pay what they were able to pay because of the entries that they were getting, which I don't think was a lot. But maybe that supplemented a lot of that prize fund. I mean, they ran the tournament for it was like 2 months or something like that.
Jimmy says have an amateur. What's up, Jimmy? Jimmy says have an amateur division and a pro division, and then have the winners bowl a full game against each other. Jimmy, I would rather that would be like watching a bear kill a kitten, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't really want to see that either. I want to see that.
An amateur and at a bull simo.
I agree with Rob. Like,
I'd get run over.
I told Rob before we came on tonight, like, when I was watching this show, I was just licking my chops for tonight because I was like, man, they just keep doing things that just make my points for me. Like, I'm almost tired of constantly pointing out how Bolero does these events, they do these special things, they do these made for TV type things, and there's probably a half dozen or more at this point now, and they invest tons of money in it. They invest tons of money in it because this was a multi-month tournament where they had to give up lanes at one of their flagship centers, and then prize fund for all of the different divisions, and these weren't cheap prizes. They were $20,000, and I'm going to say, like, I don't know how many entries they ended up with or what the cost was. I didn't go and do a whole breakdown, but obviously you need a good number of entries if you're paying out $20,000 prize funds in different divisions with $60,000 for the overall prize. So I don't think it's a stretch to say that they probably didn't cover the prize fund with the entries. Okay. And then you have all the cost of the production and the show. And I know they did it while the team thing was going on, but you're still paying people to be there and do the extra work and.
Yeah, Tony. What's up, Tony? Tony's like, they took a loss in the tournament.
And you know what? That's frustrating to me because and someone just said in the chat, like, imagine being a professional bowler who grinded your ass off all season to make $20,000, and then you see this event, and there's some amateur who bowled a good 9-game series or whatever, and now they got a shot to win 60. And Tom Daugherty walks away with $60,000 for beating a handful of people, what amounts to a handful of people. And I'm not hating on Tom Daugherty. Bless up, enjoy the $60,000. Great win, clutch bowl and all that. He got lucky because the kid threw a 6 when he went 7. Let's be honest. If it wasn't for that kid going 6, he would have been out, right? But I just feel like they make my case for me. Like, if you're going to put that kind of effort and money and promotion and all that into an event like this, where is the real promotion and money, etc., for the real professional bowling tour? I mean, this is a side circus event. So like, where's the money for the real tour? That's my problem with all this. And you're right, Rob. Like, we just discussed last week how they have this product like the PBA league, and how we'd love to see those guys bowling for more serious money. And here they're throwing hundreds of thousands around trying to create this league bowling championship. So I just don't get it. I don't understand it. I think the people that run Bolero, they just, I don't know. I think that their objectives of what they're trying to get out of it are much different than what we think they should be trying to get out of it.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, guess what the next PBA event is, Mike? It's an event that I will not be watching. I will not be watching the Strike Derby.
Brian is saying the Trey was still the biggest winner, cashing 28,000. How's that? Tom Darty won 60, did he not?
I think they get money for actually finishing first in the division at the LBC. I think.
Yeah, they do, but I'm saying it ain't 60,000.
Oh yeah, well,
this win was 60,000.
Yeah,
I mean, 60,000. That's more than most of the PBA tournaments that were bowled this year. I mean, come on, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah, and then we get the Strike Derby the next show in a few weeks, and it's just I personally, like I said before, I won't be watching the Strike.
How
Derby.
much they give him for the win there? 40 for winning the Strike Derby. Oh God! You show up and bowl a regional, you win $2,000.
I know
they're giving away. They're giving away 60 grand. Oh yeah. God!
Anyway, all right, Mike.
Let's move on.
So Jeff Riggles had a interesting article on his 11frame.com blog today about something called the New World Bowling League, I believe it's called the New World Bowling League. And the headline of his article was the New World Bowling League promises incredible things. Now, I was ooh, this is interesting. I'm going to read this and I'm going to try to see what's going on. And, and then the article opens up about how they're going to go into some partnership with the IBF. And then instantly I'm like, oh, this is going to be a complete shit show disaster. If anybody didn't or wasn't able to read the article, essentially what the details of this New World Bowling League is, a founder and CEO of League Sports Co. His name is Adi Mishra, which sent out a news release from Dubai that was released today about how they're going to start they struck a deal that will run up to 20 years with the International Bowling Federation, or the IBF, to drive innovation, growth, and investment in the sport. So yeah, it's okay, well, you're partnering with the IBF, and I don't know how that could work, because the IBF has been just riddled with controversy and drama and whatever else. It's you could read all that on Jeff Riggles' blogs. Mishra promises a tour like tennis. Ooh, now my eyes are kind of okay, now what's going on? With millions of prize money, global rankings, and a new scoring system, and more. Mishra said WBL is in late-stage discussions with famous names around becoming league-level investors, with a couple well-known global celebrities already closed and soon to be announced. The WBL said it will feature 12 to 15 events per year in iconic locations across the globe. With 8 to 12 franchise teams competing in 2024, the teams will be gender balanced, featuring 4 to 6 players. So, I mean, you could read a little bit of the rest of the article. I don't want to steal his whole thunder of his article. It was a well-written article by Jeff. I actually enjoyed reading this because this is exactly what we've been saying the league should be for the last 20 years. So, Mike, your thoughts on reading this article?
I'll believe it when I see it. No, I mean, do you really believe this?
No, I don't.
I don't really believe this.
I don't. But it's
it sounds amazing. It sounds like, man, sign me up. I'm gonna hit the training center and start practicing, try and make one of these teams actually. But no, I mean, I don't know. Call me skeptical. Call me jaded.
Realistic.
I just been around the bowling community too long and seen too many tournament flyers advertise, 50,000 for first based on this many entries, and you show up and there's 15 guys there and it's 300 for first. So
I want to respond to Nico's
but
comment here, because live of bowling, Mike. Like, no, if this actually was real and this happened, this would trump the PBA tour. This would the PBA tour players would all jump ship from the PBA tour.
So
if there was
quick,
millions of dollars.
It would be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous. They would go so that's why I said recently on another show that, like, I would love to see the PBA have some competition somewhere. I would love to see something form that is an alternative to the PBA. And I know that sounds bad because I'm a fan of professional bowling, but I just feel like to me the PBA is almost like Madden, the video game. Okay, people's complaints with Madden every year is that when the game comes out, you're paying for the same game with just updated players. Okay, they never do any real changes to the game. They never really make it any better. They never fix any of the things that people don't like about it the year before, right? And a lot of people who are fans of that game say the reason they don't do it is because they don't have to, because there's no competition. What are your other options if you want to play a football video game? Guess what? There are none. Okay, so I look at the PBA.
I call that a monopoly.
Yeah, I look at the PBA much the same way, especially now that it's owned by Bolero, because, really, like, they can do whatever the hell they want, and the players ain't going to be able to do shit about it, because if you don't like it, guess what? There's nowhere else to bowl.
Mike, PBA could make a rule tomorrow where the players have to dress up as clowns and bowl, and you'd start seeing clowns walking around everywhere throwing shots. I mean, literally.
Listen, let's not give Bolero any ideas, okay? Let's not.
There's enough clowns. There's enough clowns in Bolero.
No.
There's enough clowns in Bolero that they don't need anymore.
That's extreme. That's extreme. But I could picture them being like, while you're bowling, you have to eat a Bolero meal during competition, and you have to eat the Pardon My cheesesteak from Barstool while you're bowling and promote it. You have to stand up and say, "Wow, this is a great cheesesteak." Like, listen, let's not give them too many ideas. Okay.
I mean, look, like Bolero has been on the record saying that the PBA is their marketing like division, right? Like they bought the PBA for the marketing of Bolero. They didn't buy the PBA to like grow it into this like World Bowling League, right? But again,
my point being, the PBA really doesn't have to try because there are no other options. Okay, there are no other games in town.
100%.
And I would just like to see what would happen if somebody else came along. And the name I'm going to use is because this is a pipe dream, and if anybody knows them, tell them to listen to this podcast and put this bug in his ear. But the name I think of is Mookie Betts, man. I mean, if there's anybody that I would go to and say, hey, let's start an alternative professional bowling competition, and let's go to some of your sponsors and say, get on board with me on this. You want to be associated with me on something? Get on board with me with this. Let's build this. Let's get this some real exposure behind it. Get some people involved in it, names that are going to matter, and let's see where we can go with it, right? But yeah, this is a pipe dream. Okay, this is a pipe dream that I'm talking about. But nonetheless, my point is, I'd love to see that competition. In terms of this World Bowling thing, like, I'm open to whatever. But yeah, I mean, this just sounds like I have to see it to believe it type situation. Even in Jeff's article, like, in the press release, it said that they had already secured the participation of several high-profile celebrity people in the bowling community, or whatever. And Jeff said he reached out to a lot of people, and no one had really heard anything or signed any deal or is officially involved. So that's certainly not a good sign, because again, like he said in the article, if you're starting this and trying to get it off the ground, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to try and sign the players, the bowlers, the talent. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, would I love to see it happen? Yes, but you're right, Rob. This sounds very much like what we have been advocating for the PBA League for quite some time, right? It sounds like somebody with money is saying, oh, you know what? Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the PBA league wouldn't be like a world, where you'd have to be a world traveler to go bowl. It would all be within, the United States or maybe whatever. You could bring it to Canada.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm down with whatever. Like if this person wants to come along and really make an effort at it, and guys have to travel all over the world to different sites to go bowl, so be it. So be it. I mean, if you want to bowl for serious money and that's what you have to do it, then yeah, why not?
I wonder what the PBA, if this actually became real and this actually became like a legit like World Bowling League where everything in this article, if it actually came into fruition, I wonder how Bolero and the PBA would react. Would they try to work with this league to coincide with their tournaments, or would there be a lot of clashing between like pros going there, like kind of how like the PGA Tour was with like
I was
Liv
going
when
to say
first started.
they probably treat it much like the PGA treat it Live. Like if you're going to go play over there, you can't play here.
You think they would? I don't think so. I don't think they would be like
Oh,
that,
I
but it
think
would
they
be
would.
interesting to ask. I know in the article, Jeff said he reached out to Tom Clark, and an interesting tidbit is Tom Clark punted it to Bolero.
Right.
So Tom Clark, meaning didn't have any comment or didn't want to make any official comment, kind of saying like, I have nothing to do with any, like, I don't know, like you need to talk to Bolero. And of course, Bolero still hasn't gone back to Jeff. So it would be interesting to see Bolero and PBA's comments on this, if this is actually be real. But yeah, Mike, look, I know you hate wrestling, okay, but I'm going to compare this with a lot of wrestling because this is not fake, what I'm about to say. This is the business part of the wrestling, right? If anybody remembers the Monday Night Wars back when we were younger in 97, 98, 99, when Ted Turner bought WCW, Monday Night Raw was the only show on air, Mike, at the time, right? And then when WCW
I don't know. I don't watch wrestling.
But I'm trying to tell you, WWE's product when they had Raw before WCW wasn't great, right? When WCW came in and WCW said, you know what, we're going to put a show right at the same time, the same everything, right? Different cable network. All of a sudden, the Raw's product became very, very good because what draws great product is competition, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way business world works, right? If you're the only taco stand in town, you could do whatever the hell you want. But if another taco stand moves in across the street and they're offering better tacos at better prices, guess what? You better shape up or ship out your taco stand, right? The same thing what you're talking about with the PBA Tour. Maybe they might actually decide, oh shit, we better get our shit straight because there's a new show in town and our viewers and our pros are going to start jumping ship. So kind of where I'm at with that. But right, call on Agent on open.
Have your people call our people.
Yep.
Let's get it done.
Right, competition lights fire into your ass. Make sure Agent on opens 14 days from now. Check it out. Go on his website.
What up, Dougie?
Dougie, you're supposed to come on the show. What happened? You fall asleep again? There's too much chicken fingers and French fries, man. When you go in bowl league, man, always love watch Dougie Vision, and he's eating everybody else's food. Like he's like, let me grab that.
True.
It's a trip.
All right, let's go, Rob. Let's give the people what they want.
Yes, sir. Mike, we might be using the same worst of the week that got sent to us, but I think it's worth it because this worst of the week is amazing. Is it the same one you're going to use, though? I'm going to use. I know which one you're talking about. The one where we got tagged on Twitter today.
No, I wasn't going to use that one.
Okay,
yeah, you use it.
I'm glad because this thing was absolutely amazing. Okay, so I got to give shouts to Hand Banana, right? Because hey, yo, I don't know who you are, Hand Banana, but you're my guy or girl. Tagged us in a Reddit bowling post. Okay.
Oh boy, the Reddit posts are always the best posts.
Mike, this one had me laughing. Okay, so this person by the name of Creative Study 5944 posted this. Okay. Stay with me, people, because this is well worth a good story. We ended our first game. I was first bowler up and scored a strike for first frame of second game. The other team said they weren't ready and wanted to do a smoke break. I said, okay, do your smoke break and start when you're ready. They say USBC rules stipulate that both teams must give the all clear and ready symbol before bowling, and I would have to re-roll. Frustrated, I chucked one of their balls in the gutter down the lane as they were bowling on. Things got heated. The league secretary came over and said I didn't have to re-roll and my strike counted, but I shouldn't have touched their ball and threw it down the alley. The other team in civil disobedience protest, their words, not mine, literally was tossing the ball from the chairs straight into the gutter for the whole second game to lower their handicap, or you should say lower their averages and higher their handicap, and called their series a farce today. Question, who are the assholes? Let me respond to you, creative study, okay? So essentially, you throw a strike, they go on a smoke break, they protest your strike, you get pissed, they call it a farce, shit's a commotion, sounds like something straight out of Brooklyn, New York. I guarantee you this is in Brooklyn. And then you pick up one of their bowling balls and you throw it in the gutter. They protest by sandbagging, throwing their own gutters. Okay? You're all assholes, all right? The only person who's not an asshole is the league secretary, all right? You're all assholes, okay? You picked up his ball, threw it in the gutter. They're going in a smoke break in the second frame of the second game. I wish this guy would have got this on video because this thing, it makes me laugh hysterically. What a shit show of that league night, right? I can't even talk. I'm done. That's my worst of the week.
Here's what I'm thinking: what are the Patch Pirates going to do when they got to bowl against these teams? They're gonna go crazy. They're gonna go crazy when they have to bowl these teams.
Could you imagine though? They're starting to throw balls from the settee area into the gutter, right? This kid,
my God!
He literally picked up someone else's ball and threw it. Mike, I've known you for a long time. Okay, I've known you for a long time. If you were bowling someone in league and you got into a heated argument with them and they picked up your ball and threw it in the gutter, what would the 21-year-old Mike do?
Oh, man.
What would the 21-year-old Mike
goodness.
do? I'm not talking mature adult.
I don't know. I mean, it definitely would have been a situation. It would have been a situation. I don't know. Because, it depends who it was. I wasn't the type to, fight an older person or something like that. But if I could not fight them, then I probably would take a ball and throw it through their car window or something like that.
Something like that, right? I mean,
yeah, I would be pretty pissed off.
So
take
in my
throw
opinion,
it outside, crack it,
yep.
Crack one of their balls open. In
my opinion,
eye type deal.
Yep. In my opinion, that is the legitimate equivalent of punching someone in the bowling league without actually punching somebody, is picking up their ball and throwing it in the gutter. Okay, that is the ultimate disrespect in the bowling league world. There is no better disrespect than that. That is the ultimate disrespect. Okay, that's literally yo, fuck you, dude, and then you pick up your ball and you just throw it in the gutter. That's the greatest story ever.
Oh my God,
man, yo, shouts to what an amazing worst of the week Pinterest story. Great. I'm so hyped for it, man. You could tell. I couldn't wait to tell us worst of the week.
All right, my worst of the week goes out to Bowler's Journal. Okay. I can't believe.
Oh wait,
I can't believe I have to give an actual bowling publication worst of the week.
Yep, I know that story, Yo Mop. He used to talk about it all the time. He actually, I think, kept those house shoes, Stillman. So the comment was Stillman once walked out of league in the third frame and left his sneakers, walked out in bowling shoes. Yeah, I think he kept those bowling shoes. I'm pretty sure that's the story. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead, Bowler's Journal.
No, it's okay. Bowler's Journal, worst of the week. Congratulations, Bowler's Journal. I mean, really USBC, I guess you could say, because the USBC bought Bowler's Journal a little while
Was this
back.
the rankings? Was this the rankings?
yeah.
I'm so happy you brought this up.
Man. Oh,
what a
my
disaster.
God. Disaster. Like, what are you guys doing?
Didn't they rank a team that didn't have a bowling team?
Yeah. Bob Learn's former, the team that Bob Learn was coaching. It was Tennessee Southern, I believe was the name of the school, and they cut the program, so they no longer have a program. And yeah, they made
the rankings.
Bowler's Journal ranked them second in the nation, and they don't have a program. They don't have a program.
So just Bob for everybody,
Bob Learn posted about it on Twitter. He said Bob Learn is feeling amused. He put the smile emoji. He says, "Looks like we are still at the top, even in our absence. Good luck to all of the teams who are bowling this college season." Hashtag RIP Tennessee Southern Bowling.
Oh man, what a shot to them. Could you imagine, like, you lost your bowling program for whatever reason, right? Which I don't know why they lost their bowling program, right? But they lost their bowling program, and then Bowler's Journal ranks them second.
They also have Indiana Institute of Technology ranked twice. They're on the list twice at 4 and 8. They're on the list twice. What is going on at Bowler's Journal, son? What is going on? Please tell me. Someone tell me. What is John Mark G? Yeah. What's going on, bro?
His name. Dude, is that who did it?
I think that's who runs it. He's like the editor in chief over there. No.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to say
Gianmark Manzone, right?
Yeah. This rest of the week is probably the best 1-2 punch that we've ever brought. I might have to cut this out and put this on the internet because it's too good. We got one worse.
I'm only looking at the teams. Brian Hirsch is in the chat saying there were also players that are ranked that don't bowl college anymore.
So
let me ask, God, what
was it the same?
And you know what? It's kind of sad.
As last year, though?
It is. It's kind of sad. I'm just going to say it's just like we're joking about it, but there's teams and players and stuff who probably deserve to be in that publication. And like Rob, me and you know, anytime that we got into something like that, it was a big deal. It was something that we held in a high regard. And listen, this is Rob, somebody that was a future star of tomorrow in the back of Bowling This Month. So if anybody knows about the value of that, it's this guy. He used to walk around like, I'm a future star from Bowling This Month. We were all like, yo, that's the future star from Bowling This Month. People would come up to Rob and ask him to autograph the back of Bowling This Month with his picture in it. It was wild. So, yeah, I joke about it, but also, to point out the serious side, like somebody's losing out on this. So that sucks too. Like I'm sure there's teams that deserve to be listed in there that aren't, players that deserve to be listed aren't. But yeah, I got to give that my worst of the week. And let me tell you something. I had like 2 or 3 worst of the weeks that were so good for this week that I'm actually going to dip back into them next week. That's how good they were. So Bowler's Journal caught you slipping, bro. Be on your game.
Slipping. These motherfuckers were sleeping. They were sleeping.
They were sleeping. They were triple the legal limit DUIing. That's what they were doing.
Dude, whoever did that should never ever work for a publication ever again.
I agree with Brian Hirsch. That sounds like a copy and paste situation. That sounds like a copy and paste situation for sure.
Yeah, but
they just didn't go over it closely enough.
Man, that's just too funny. All right, Mike,
wrap it up.
Great worst of the week.
All right, final thoughts.
Final thoughts, Mike. I want a real quick discussion. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pivot for that for next week. My final thoughts are: I saw a post on one of the message boards asking what bothers traditionalists, one-handed traditionalists more, two-handed bowling or string pins. And I thought about that, and I guarantee you, if we had on Joe Pelusic, who is he is a traditionalist to say the least, right? He'll
never be on the show, but
he'll never be on the show. Maybe lost episode somewhere. But For now, as of now, it'll always be two-handed bowling. To me, it won't even be a question of two-handed bowling. I think traditionalists will eventually accept string pins because it actually has more of a traditionalist feel than two-handed bowling will ever.
Oh, I'll go
right?
a step further. Traditionalists will love string pins. Somebody like Pelusic will love string pins. And the reason he'll love string pins is because it's going to take the messengers away. And he hates messengers because in order to have messengers, you got to have some rev rate and speed. So, yeah, like they're going to take those away, and he's going to love that. And he's going to stand behind two-handers when they stomp their foot at no messenger, and he's going to make fun of them and laugh at them, I would imagine.
Yeah, because if you've ever bowled on string pins, you know that string pins actually rewards like very, very pure shots. And if you half-fast a shot on a string pin, you're gonna flat 10 a lot of it, right? So it's bowling on string pins has a very traditionalist feel to it, right? And you have to bowl on them in a competitive nature to understand what I'm talking about. Competitive, I mean on a tougher shot, right? Like some kind of flat pattern, which I have the obviously I'm able to do that on B3, and it's very the scores are very much lower on string pins than they would be on free falling pins because of what you just talked about. Now there are funky feeling, there are funky layout, whatever. We can get into that. We've been into that. We beat that horse dead. So that's my final thoughts. I thought that was an interesting question, but for me, all day long, it's going to be two-handed bowling. Traditionalists will never accept two-handed bowling.
Brian Hirsch in the chat asking, you've been to B3?
Oh yeah, I was there. I was going every week for like 6 months for a while there when I was making a comeback and then retired again, and now I'm making another comeback. But that's a whole nother YouTube series.
But he's going to retire before the comeback actually happens.
I'm thinking about. I haven't thrown a ball in like 3 weeks, so yeah, I probably.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
Can I do a non-bowling related final thought?
Does it have to do with a parent-teacher? You going up to a parent-teacher conference and fighting with them?
No, nor a board meeting. Although another appearance at a board meeting might be coming soon, so somebody put Jimmy on notice. Jimmy might want to start monitoring the Monroe Township board meeting videos online.
I'm so excited for that.
No, it's sports. It's sports related. It's sports related, but it's not bowling related. Here's my final thought. If your kid is on a sports team, in a sport that involves passing, okay, and they never pass the ball, do not yell from the sidelines that somebody else's kid should pass the ball.
Ooh.
Okay? That's my final thought. All right? I'm going to leave it at that. People, we got 4 soccer games this weekend. Say a prayer for me. Okay? That's what I'm going to say.
Hey, if anybody's ever seen, let me
go to church, light a candle for me, please.
If anybody's ever seen the South Park episode where Randy Marsh fights every parent from the opposite team, and
they do the Rocky training montage. Yep.
This is America. This is America. I thought this was America.
Then he runs into the parent in the playoffs. Who has the mask on, and he's at the wrestling John on. Oh my god!
So what Jimmy you need to do is put Mike's head to Randy Marsh on South Park. This is America. This is America, and him fighting other parents. That would be hysterical.
Listen. I am not the problem parent.
Sure, you're not.
I'm not. But here's what's going to happen, though. Here's who I am. Here's who I am. I am the person that will say something to the problem parent.
I could guarantee that.
All right. So stop painting me like I'm the problem parent, because I'm not. I sit on the sidelines. I shut my mouth. I don't say anything. Okay. But you know me, and you know that if somebody's talking out of pocket and I don't like what they're saying, I will tell you in no uncertain terms, that I do not like what you are saying. Okay, I will make that crystal clear. This is America, and I will tell you. Okay, so listen, I got 4 games this weekend. All right,
all right.
Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. All right,
I might
Love
need a
you
guest.
guys.
I might need a guest guest co-host next week.
Oh my goodness!
Anybody out there want to co-host with me?
No. Do you want my worst nightmare? Honestly, is like, and I hate to even say this, but my worst nightmare is like ending up on a viral video as a sports parent. You know what I'm saying?
That would be my greatest.
Dream. Oh man.
That might be better than winning the Powerball Saturday.
If it happens, listen. If it happens, I'm just piecing out from this. I'm just letting you know. I'm never coming back. So if you see a viral video of me involved in some nonsense as a sports parent, peace, people. You'll never see me here again.
It'll be the one-man show, everybody. It'll just be me. So I'll have to join league for the league review, which would kill me.
Seriously though, like if you had a kid and your kid played basketball and they never passed the ball, and you know your kid's kind of a ball hog. It's like kind of obvious, like the kid's a ball hog. Like they're missing shots all over. They're making bad decisions, keeping the ball. Are you really going to be in your right mind to say when another kid gets the ball and starts dribbling to the hole to scream out, "Pass the ball"? Come on, nope. Please give me a break.
Not happy about that.
All right. Give me a break.
Anyway, so final, just a couple things before we log off. Agent on Open. I'll be there in a few weeks. So
extra content coming your way.
Sunday,
extra content coming your way.
Yes, I'm going to put up a thing tonight or tomorrow. Sunday, we're going to be going live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have Robert Smith on. We're going to have Greg Thompson. They're going to be bowling a big action match, and we're going to have them on for a half hour. We're going to talk to them both live on air, and anybody who wants to listen to it after can listen to it. But it could get a little bit interesting because they're going to be bowling against each other for a lot of money. And you know how me and Mike like to do it. You know, we're going to try to get them, talking a little bit, making sure this match is going to get pretty high. Instigation. We're going to talk probably betting odds. We're going to talk betting odds. We're going to talk who's his favorite, who's the underdog, what the odds would be. You know, I hope Mike doesn't put me on the spot and ask me who I'm betting on. We will be on this Sunday. I will throw out something on social media as well as our event invite. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do us a favor, hit the like button. I don't know why people say that.
Email us, sweeptherack at Gmail. Hit us up on social media. We're on Twitter having a conversation all the time. He's at Brooklyn Rob 11. I'm at the 215. Hit us up on there. We almost did it, Rob. We almost did it. We almost did it. We just missed. We're 8 minutes over. We just missed. Guys, had fun tonight. Appreciate everybody showing up. Rob, have a great week. We'll see you on Sunday.
Later, guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.